I think I need to learn how to not give advice to people who don't want it. Because I keep running into this issue where people will ask for my advice, not take it, and then I get really pissed off as if it's some kind of like issue on my end, as if like my advice is not worth listening to. I get frustrated because it's like, why did you ask me if you didn't want to know my help? At this point, I'm so fucking tired of trying. It's like I'm talking to myself. I'm arguing with the wall at this point. And I'm over that shit. You know what I'm saying? I worked a double yesterday. I worked a double 4 times this week. So I decided to come home, get some Taco Bell, go to sleep. Would you imagine my surprise that I wake up at 3, 5, and now 7:30 in the morning? I just wanted to sleep, yo. This whole week, I have not been able to sleep. I have not been able to get my ass out of bed. I've been late to work because I cannot get myself out of bed. And then you want to tell me my one day off, I'm up before 8 o'clock? How about you go fuck yourself? Me. How is it that when I'm about to start my period, somehow I just see all the stuff that makes me... Wow, bro, in a row. My For You page is not usually this sentimental. I need to go lock myself in the forest. People's behaviors, the weather, the current state of our government and its administration. The thing I can control is I can buy my family their favorite kind of soda. I can take them each a giant glass with a full thing of ice and see the look on their face when they're just like, oh, you just brought me something randomly nice, like, because just you wanted to? Thanks! And I think that might get me through it. Jesus H. Christ, I'm fucking unhappy. Oh my god. I'm like stupid, ridiculously, unfathomably unhappy. And it feels like I am just doing so fucking good. I feel like I'm doing so fucking good until something happens very minor and little with something very specific. And then all of a sudden I'm just in a bad fucking mood. And everything's in a bad fucking mood. And then as soon as I'm not interacting with that thing, I'm no longer in a bad fucking mood. It's almost like this thing is the thing that's turning me and making me in a bad fucking mood. I'm having a really bad fucking time. I'm fucking pissed. It was 70 degrees for 2 days and now it's cold outside again. This lipstick is way too fucking red on me. I'm about to go look through some clothes my friend is getting rid of. And I'm gonna buy weed. I just filled up my car and I'm about to get paid. And it's Wednesday. Happy April. Starvation is not the only kind of eating disorder. Damn it, remember that. I just broke up with my partner. I told it that it was abusive a few weeks ago. Not an abuser, just abusive. Or exhibiting abusive behavior, at very least. It did not go well, obviously. Brought up today that we were currently perpetuating a cycle of DARVO. In case you don't know what DARVO is, it is deny, attack, reverse victim, and offend. I was even able to, like, map out, like, where everything, like, what, like, the pattern recognition was pattern recognizing, if you will. And again, did not go well, as you can imagine. And now it's gone. And I'm devastated. I'm sad as fuck. Oh my god. I did not want to have to do that. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. My nose is running. Worst part about this right now is the fact that our lives are so intermeshed right now that I don't know how I'm going to go forward in being a part of a scene I'm part of. My head hurts so bad. I'm beyond disappointed about the way that things turned out. I really thought that things were going to be better, and I thought that things were going to fix themselves. I know I'm not the first person to think that they are the exception to abusive behavior. I just really thought that I was, I guess. I really thought that things would be different, but they weren't. But things are looking up. I have things in the work for me. And hopefully, not hopefully, I know for a fact that everything's gonna be okay.
You'll probably hear more wind than anything, but happy spring.
I hugged a girl at work and she was sick and I got sick. It's just a lesson on never being nice to anybody. I'm incredibly depressed. Me and Tristan talked yesterday and it was nice, but it felt depressing. I wish there was more resources for abusive people to get well.
And I wish that there wasn't such a depressing overarch of content around people who are trying to get well from being abusive. Like, the chances of someone being abusive and then stop being abusive are like extremely low. I was someone who was incredibly toxic at one point. I don't know if I was abusive, but I was a very toxic person at one point. And I was 15 and I was in a relationship, and I remember looking at that relationship with fucking the worst hindsight because I was just so incredibly toxic back then. I remember something happened. It wasn't even when I was a teenager. It was literally like a few years ago when I was like 22 maybe, and someone looked at me while I was doing some shit and they were just like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, seriously, what's wrong with you? They were just like completely baffled. They could not believe that I was doing the things I was doing. I felt completely indifferent to the way that they were behaving and the way that they were acting and the way that they were telling me they were feeling, and I continued to do fucked up shit for a minute because of it. But it's like, I was so unhappy in my own life that I was almost unable to recognize that I was causing other people distress, even though I knew I was. You know what I mean? I knew I was causing people distress. I obviously knew I was hurting people, but I didn't care because I didn't have the emotional capacity to care, because I was hurting so much that all I felt was numb or hurt. And so it's like anything else was just like a nice little like side thing. So when that happened, it really gave me kind of like a reality check, and I was like, God damn, like, I really have been doing a lot of work on myself and trying to be a decent person and be a good person, but like, clearly it's not enough if I'm still doing shit like this, if I'm still acting this way, if I'm still behaving this way, if I'm still treating people this way. Clearly there is a reason that I am unhappy, and it's because I am the one doing this to myself. I am the one making myself unhappy by acting this way. It's not been a long time. It's only been 3 years now, 4 years now at this point. I guess almost 10 years now since I've started this journey of not being a piece of shit. And it's like, damn, that's 10 years of me doing shit and me trying not to be a piece of shit. Yeah. If someone starts now at 26, it's probably going to seem a lot more intimidating because they're going to be like, oh my god, I'm going to be 35 by the time any of this shit's even sticking. Yeah, the time's going to pass anyway. And I think that's something that I realized was like, I'm going to be growing and changing the rest of my life. This is not a finite bit of learning that you just get to like move away from and say that it made you a better person. It's not like juggling. It's not like a skill you just acquire. You try to stop being toxic the rest of your life because you have been raised up until a certain point to be a toxic individual. My whole life, up until I was 15, I had been raised with the idea that you should be able to be this way, and that this was an acceptable way to behave, because there was nothing in my world or in my life that told me otherwise. And now, bitch, when I turn 30, I will have been living my life in a healthier capacity longer than I've lived my life in an unhealthy one. And that feels awesome, because not a lot of people have that. And I understand that. And it sucks that really the only thing that can heal a lot of wounds is time. Our relationship may not work, at least not right now, because Tristan's trying to be a better person, and that takes a long time. How long is it from 15 to 22? 7 years? Like, we may be in our 30s by the time this actually works. And you know what? I'm okay with that, as long as it works well, because I am the kind of person who will wait. I will wait for the person that I love. I really will. But you have to give me a reason to wait, because that's just the reality of it. And I really sometimes hate the fact that I'm so matter-of-fact in that way, and like a lot of partners and a lot of people have gotten really upset with me in the past because I say things like, you know, forever's not promised, no one's gonna be together forever if we don't work out. Like, sometimes things don't work. I have this very realistic idea about the fact that people aren't meant to be in your life forever, and they are meant to move, and they are meant to, you know, teach you lessons, and they're not always meant to last forever. And the people who are meant to last forever, typically you don't realize they're going to last forever until they've been in your life for like 10 years or so, and that's usually the case for me. I can't say for everybody else. I know that I'm going to love again, and I know I'm going to be in love again and be happy again. I may just want to do something that is for me, and if that's the case, I will. I was also having a conversation with someone recently about how I don't think that I even really am like interested in what romantic partnerships are supposed to like give you. Relationships being partnerships, and relationships being work, and relationships being equal give and take. Relationships, you're supposed to give up certain things. You're like, it's like an expectation to be this way. And I realized I maybe just don't want that. Maybe I don't need it. I love my friends. I have my friends. Is there someone I want to cuddle and kiss up next to every single day? Yeah, sure. But like, that's a very small part of it, I guess. I love being in love and I love the feeling of it, but I don't like that place that it eventually gets where it starts to turn sour. I don't know if that's a me problem or if it's a relationship in general problem, but until I figure it out, I don't think it's worth this heartbreak and this heartache. I think having a calm and regulated nervous system is worth more than any relationship, platonic or romantic. I like being able to protect my surroundings, I like being able to have my routines, and I like being around people who respect and honor those things about me. Things I want in life are things I get, but if they're not, I can accept that, and I can be okay with that. I know that the world will give me what I deserve. That's it. I think one of my big lessons this month is that I need to learn to love myself more than I love other people. And more than that, I need to know when to stop letting myself be loved by people who love in a very unhealthy way. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. To preserve my self-worth, I need to just not. I don't really believe in, well, I can't even say that. I do believe in it. Goose. I'm seeing metaphors in the skies, guys. Things are okay. Look out my window. What do I see? Big ass fucking rainbow. Intense ass fucking rainbow. I understand why someone's like, yeah, let me go just run. Find the end of that. There's gold there. I believe there's gold there. Older sister. She's 6 years older than me. She's my half-sister, technically. But I've never treated her like my half-sister. We went through a long period of time where we did not get along, and she was actually kind of low-key, like, physically abusive because she just was only there for, like, a weekend out of the month, 2 weekends out of the month, maybe. And so she just, like, took out the fact that I had a different childhood than she did. Rightfully so. As I get older, I'm like, oh, yeah, you were a kid. I don't blame you for that. We're fine as adults, so it's like our relationship has since prospered. But for a long time I was just like, damn, we just are not alike. We're not anywhere alike. We don't get along. Like, there's just nothing about us that's the same. And then recently we've both been going through a troubles of the heart, and the way that we talk about these things is just so similar. Sometimes we just have such similar reactions that I'm like, oh yeah, we do share a mom. Right. 2 years ago, no, 3 years ago now, at this point, I was in a incredibly toxic relationship dynamic. It wasn't even a relationship dynamic. It was just an unhealthy thing happening to me. And then I find myself in a not so healthy thing 3 years later. But what have I done? I've left it. And I'm maintaining boundaries. And it sucks dick. And it feels awful. But you know what? It did back then too. It felt awful back then too. And I remember the way that I felt was awful all the time, and the days just always moved faster than I did. This sucks, but I would take this over the other feeling any day.
What do you do when you don't know how to be anyone other than the person that you loves? What am I supposed to do when my entire personality was being the person that you love? And now I had to remove myself and separate myself because you're hurting me, and now I don't know what to do or how to be or what to be. When did this happen?
Turns out the truth that you speak is actually a truth that you're allowed to have and is acceptable to feel, because the people who are meant to live in that truth with you will agree, and you don't have to force people who don't agree with your truth to live in your truth, but they also can't do the same for you. Recently, I've undergone some harrowing moments of the heart, I guess you could say, dealing with some shit. My heart is dealing with the repercussions and the fallout of being alive, falling in love, having emotions. I'm not even 26 yet, and what is long term, I guess, to a motherfucker who's as young as me. I was in a relationship for 5 years. I've never been in a relationship longer than a year. The relationship I was just in was the longest one, I guess, besides the 5-year one. And so I guess I had all these preconceived ideas about, like, the ways that relationships were supposed to go, despite the fact that I really wanted, and I really have wanted my entire life, a very unconventional relationship dynamic. And I just thought for the longest time that was just, like, unattainable, because what I wanted was not real. Or it was, like, some kind of, like, weird, freaky thing that I didn't really want to be a part of. I'm poly in my heart. but not in my pants. I asked for what I wanted. The same thing I've been asking all my partners for since I became an adult. The same thing I've been asking all the romantic inquisitions that I've ever had to understand, and they just don't. And then I'm left kind of feeling like I'm the one that's fucked up because I have a want that they don't understand, only to then find someone who kind of wants that too and is okay with it. And it was all just because I was honest, and I wasn't afraid of being honest. The life I've led so far has made me afraid of being honest, because despite the fact that people want honesty, they don't want the truth, because the truth sometimes sucks. I'm aware of that, which is why I don't tell people the truth very often. My favorite thing about being an older sibling that is short and femme is that I get to act like a younger sibling and being annoying as fuck. The super specific feeling that I get on certain days when it's really nice outside and it's like summertime, and it's like a kind of liminal and transitionary feeling I think I've had since I can remember being conscious of my internal feelings. It's so funny because like I think about it and it reminds me of like a lot of quiet. It reminds me of shadows, and it reminds me of the way that light peeps into like windows. It reminds me of the buzzing of like electronics. It reminds me of being so light in the house that you don't have to have like lights on. It reminds me of no one being in the house. It reminds me of like a lot of stuff. Like sometimes certain songs will remind me of that feeling. And sometimes, like, certain, like, just atmospheres will give me that feeling. Certain times of day will, like, bring me back to that feeling. Something I've been able to analyze about it as I've gotten older is that it actually kind of makes me want to kill myself, which is weird as fuck, because I don't know why. And I don't know if it, like, makes me want to kill myself, but, like, there's something about the feeling itself where it's like, this is a perfect moment. And I don't know what that's about or why I have it, or I think I've always felt that way too. Like since I was young, like since a kid, like since before I really knew what that meant. I was just like, it could end now. I want it to end now. Almost like this would just be a good time to stop. I don't know what that means. Who knew that you could literally have relationships according to your rules? Who knew that you didn't have to have relationships that mimicked every single other relationship you've ever seen? Who knew that you could just make it up? You could just make up the rules. You can make up how you interact, why you interact, in which capacities you interact, and it doesn't have to make sense to anyone but you and the other consenting person that you are engaging with. I love growing up. I just got new shorts. They're mediums. They fit perfectly. I'm okay with that. But in this moment, I have to understand and realize about myself that up until this very point, I was unaware, but subconsciously choosing to prioritize and like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, like put on a pedestal the size small, which I know that sounds stupid because like I'm very like pro body neutrality. I don't think that you should be body positive. I also don't think that your body should be the most interesting thing about you, and so I don't think that mine is. However, I do know that I still struggle with a lot of like eating disorder habits. I have a lot of disordered habits in the ways that I view my body and the way that I view food, the way that I view consumption. But there's a lot of things that kind of play into the ways that I struggle with my own eating disorder. I've gained some weight recently, a considerable amount of weight that I haven't really gained unless I was in an unhealthy place prior to right now. So I've gained the weight, and it's like it's a healthy weight, and I'm just like dealing with the fact that my body feels different and it looks different, and I'm like growing and I'm changing and my body is doing this thing. So it's like I'm having to like cope, I guess, with all of these things happening. I thought that I was doing a really good job at maintaining a sense of like autonomy over the fact that I take up space and the fact that my body is like literally growing and getting bigger. I looked at these size medium shorts and I was like, wow, these fit me so good. Why don't I just buy mediums of all my clothes? And then it was in that moment I realized I was trying really hard to still fit into smalls. I thought that a small was a better size, and that doesn't make any goddamn sense. I guess it's because like a lot of my clothes are smalls right now, and so I'm used to the way my body used to look in those clothes, and I'm not used to the way my body looks now. And I also like realize I'll have to buy like a whole other set of wardrobe to do that. It's like it's a whole lot of stuff. But regardless, I just think that was a good, nice little thing that I was able to be made aware of in my own mind, because I didn't realize that I was prioritizing the size small over literally clothes that fit, because I didn't think that was the kind of person that I am. The more and more I find out about the fact that I might have hypermobility, the more I'm just like, what the fuck do you mean it's not normal for your fucking goddamn bottom ribs to dislocate on a regular basis because you sat weird? What do you mean?
I was 22, maybe 21. I met a girl or no, when I was 17 years old, probably even younger than that, I met a girl on the internet. We became best friends. When I was 22, 21, we stopped being friends because she became fucking insane. But I also was dealing with a lot of bullshit in my life. I was actively in an abusive relationship. I was borderline an alcoholic, and I was just like not dealing with my life well. We stopped being friends. It kind of just ended, like fizzled out really quickly. This woman just messaged me at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I got up and I'm doing yoga now because I can't handle this.
That girl messaged me. Oh snap. Don't allow.
Already almost fucking May. What the fuck? It's almost halfway through the year. What the fuck?
Living alone will have to be the move for the rest of my life because I think I just function better this way.
I think I function well in communal living, but I need to live and own and occupy my own space because I just don't like cohabitating. I like having a space that is my own, that I can use the bathroom and cook and clean and do things by myself. Fully naked. Fully naked is the key part. I have been feeling better. I've been feeling a lot better. Things have been kind of slow, but also incredibly fast recently. I feel like I'm making a lot of good choices for myself, which feels empowering a lot. It feels refreshing. I feel like I have a lot of things going through my mind right now, but at the same time, I feel like my mind is almost completely blank all the time. Don't really know what that's supposed to mean. I feel grown a lot recently. I feel like an adult. Like, I've always felt like I was an adult, like I was of legal age to do legal things, but as of recently, I've definitely started feeling more grown up. I like that feeling a lot. I feel like even in my face, I feel like in the way that I stand, you can just kind of see it. Maybe it's because I'm around teenagers a lot now. Like, I work with a lot of teenagers, so maybe my age is starting just to show because I am constantly having to kind of compare my own youth to the youth that I'm surrounded with now. Because I definitely, like, I see a lot of similarities in the ways that I acted when I was young, but I also see, like, a lot of key differences, both good and bad. I feel like that's, I don't know, it's keeping the perspective fresh.
I think I want very desperately to believe that I can exist with social media and also get the things that I want in life, but the reality is I can't. I'm going to take a social media break until I get my license. I don't think I deserve to have the constant stream of dopamine and constant stream of content redlined right into my fucking brain until I get my responsibilities done. So I am going to uninstall all my apps despite not wanting to, and I'm gonna get some shit done, because god damn it, I need to get some shit done.
I don't care what the context is. My favorite thing to say is go white boy, go white boy, go. It's even funnier if they're not white, and even funnier then if it's not a boy.